What's up, everybody? One last time here from the beautiful Bankers Life Fieldhouse. Far cry from the noise in here on Friday night during Game 6. We just got done listening to Kevin Pritchard, Nate McMillan wrap up their 2017-2018 season with their end of the year press conference. Just kind of going over a couple things that stood out today. Of course, all the talk about Victor Oladipo. Obviously, Sunday we saw the text that he sent to his trainer after Game 7 saying that he wanted to be back in the gym as soon as possible, this and that. Well, he was Monday morning getting up 200 shots by about 8:30, 9 in the morning in the weight room as well. And one thing I was thinking about, kind of comparing it to the Colts, is we listened to Chris Bowen yesterday talk about when your star player has that sort of personality and that sort of work ethic, it just rubs off on the entire team. And I think that's what the city, the state appreciates so much about Victor, is that he doesn't just do it on the court. He has an incredible work ethic, and he certainly is going to see a lot of defensive attention next year, similar to what he saw late this season. So I think that's the next step for him as he turns, I think, 26 years old here in a couple weeks. Of course, a lot of talk about Myles Turner. And Nate McMillan spoke to us off to the side after it was about an hour-long presser. Just talking about the defensive end of the floor and that Game 7 of what Tristan Thompson did to Myles and how he kind of owned the glass, and Cleveland had 17 more shots than the Pacers in the first half. That is the area that Myles has to improve. Nate didn't want to talk so much about the low post game of Myles Turner. He likes what Myles is giving Indiana on the offensive end of the floor. He wanted to focus on the defensive end and Myles becoming more of a tenacious, dirty rebounder. Getting some of that old man strength. I mean, the guy's only 21 years old, so he certainly is going to get bigger and grow and fill out that 6'11" body of his. But that was definitely a big focus out of Nate McMillan. And said that, Myles, he thinks, was kind of the key in trying to advance next season. A big key of that is going to be what Myles does on the defensive end of the floor. Just a couple personnel things looking ahead to the offseason. Again, when you have this press conference just, 48, 36 hours after the season ends, you're going to get a lot of intel into, what the plans are for the offseason. One thing that Kevin Pritchard did mention is Thaddeus Young, Corey Joseph, two guys that are due player options for next year. They both expressed a desire to come back here to Indiana. Corey Joseph's, I believe, is a hair under $8 million. So he could come back here and be a key kind of 6th or 7th man like he was this past season. Thaddeus Young's player option, I believe, is just under $14 million, and of course he was a huge glue guy. So kind of the general consensus, and when you listen to Kevin Pritchard, listen to Nate McMillan, what they have to weigh right now is talent versus fit. And I feel like they just love fit and they love chemistry. So I think this might be a little bit quieter off season than their initial cap space indicates. I mean, certainly they have some room to go out and make a move, but it's not a great 2018 free agency class. The trade market is something that Kevin Pritchard thinks will be really active, just league-wide, because not a lot of teams have a ton of cap room. So that's something to keep an eye on once June and July 1 gets here as well. Right now, I'm leaning towards this core kind of sticking together for another year. Maybe you go find a piece or two, but then 2019 summer is when you can really make some bigger splashes, especially on the free agent market. Lastly, Nate just talked about the series and just how disappointed that locker room was. It's rare, I think, to hear that there are kind of NBA guys tearing up in the locker room after Game 7, but Kevin Pritchard and Nate McMillan said that was definitely the case, that they felt like they let that kind of get away and had a great opportunity to beat Cleveland and give LeBron his first opening series loss. So those are kind of some of the notes today. I'll have more of a notebook look on 1070thefan.com and just seeing how that series kind of will fuel Indiana moving forward and getting over the hump of becoming a top 4 team in the East and advancing to the month of May like we were accustomed to just a couple of years ago. So this has been Kevin Bowen for 1070thefan.com. Head to the website for more Pacers and Colts coverage.